Okay, cool. We're recording. Hey guys, welcome to our Monday night team call. We are so excited to have you here. There's a lot of new faces, which makes me super excited. See you guys. If this is your first call, welcome. We're really happy to have you here. And tonight we're going to be talking about something that is super duper critical to your business. It's something that if you're not doing it, you should be. And if you are doing it, we're going to give you some tips to kind of up your game on Instagram stories. So before we even get started, I want to just kind of let you know, when I started, there was no such thing as stories. I sound like a grandma, but 4 years ago, there was no such thing as Instagram stories. There was no such thing as Facebook stories. Like, there was Snapchat, but nobody really thought to use it. I don't know why we didn't, but nobody really used it for business, except, just literally Snapchat was just for the stuff you didn't want your parents to see. So this is, it's become more of a business tool. And I can say that probably 80 to 85, maybe even more of my business just comes from my stories. And I'm going to show you some tips that I've learned through failing forward and fixing my mistakes. And then also some things that I've learned from doing my own research and, looking up other influencers in the online space and different people who have training courses on Instagram, and some things I've learned from them as well. And then Valeria is also going to share some things that she's learned as well. So tonight we're going to have a little tag team call and share all these different tips. So if you have a pen and you have a paper or notebook or something, take notes. And if you have questions throughout, you can ask them in the chat and we'll answer them at the end of the call. So let me figure out if I can share this. Oh, there's Lady Gaga. Okay. All right. So we're talking about Instagram stories tonight. And I wanted to just kind of do a quick little run through of some basic things. So as you know, Instagram stories are the behind the scenes look at your life. I kind of like to compare it to, your posts are your magazine quality photos, and your stories is like TMZ footage. It doesn't matter what you look like. Half the time I have black mascara makeup under my eyelids from the night before, and my hair's a mess, and I don't really care because people want to see the real you. And it's okay to look nice. I'm not saying you have to just go in Hobbit mode and look like a troll all the time, but you don't have to worry so much about the quality of, what you're looking like in your stories. People want to see you real. And honestly, if I go to somebody's account and I see all perfection on their feed, I go to their stories because I want to see the real them. I don't want to just see the edited version of who they are. Also, something that is super important, and this is something that I've been practicing and, realizing that it does work, is if you are driving home a point. So let's say your concept or your point that you want to get across is you have a challenge group and you want to invite people to it. You need to have a minimum of 3 stories per concept for that to sink in. So if you're just going to post one thing and say I have a challenge group coming up, drop your email below, people are just going to go by that and they're not going to drop their email below. But let's just say, you see the first picture or whatever is a picture of a before and after. And you're saying, busy mom in my group, she lost 10 pounds in a month, whatever. You're cool, maybe you'll swipe up to message, maybe you won't, maybe you'll click next. Then you click next and you see something else that has to do with the same thing. So maybe it's talking about nutrition or recipes or accountability. And then you're oh, that's kind of neat, but you're still not ready to send your email or whatever. By that third time, you may be more inclined to drop your email or give information. So that's just how our brains work. Even if you're going shopping, how you see an advertisement pop up and it's something that you've already been on a website because the internet is so weird and knows when you're on certain websites. And then you didn't buy it then, but you see it on Instagram. And then you go on your Facebook and you see it in the sidebar. You're oh my God, this is the 5th time this is showing up. I should just buy this. It's it's the universe telling me I need to buy this. It's kind of that same concept that repetition is what is going to have people take action. So you can't just invite and just have one little picture that says, drop your email, join my challenge group, and that's it, and expect people to do it. You have to do a stream of 3 call to actions, which I'm going to show you how to do that tonight for them to really capitalize on taking action. You also, if you're talking, you have to remember a lot of people are watching stories on silent mode. They're not really listening to the sounds. And a lot of times it's because they're either at work on their phone when they shouldn't be, or they're just like maybe in bed and, you know, they just don't want to have the sound. So even if I'm sitting on the couch, sometimes I'll just like flip through and not play the sound unless it's something that really catches my eye that I want to hear what it sounds like. So if you're talking on a video, you want to have something that puts the words on it for you, which that captions your video so people can read it, so they still get the information, but they don't just breeze by it and miss everything. So there's an app called Clip-O-Matic. I'm sure there are other apps that do the same thing. This one I think was like $2, but it's a tax write-off, so you should just get it. It's awesome. But I'm sure there's another free one that does the same thing out there if you wanted to look for that. But it's just a really great tool to use to put words on your video. So when you record it, it'll literally transcribe what you're saying and just kind of put it on to the bottom. And if you watch my stories, I'm sure you've seen me using this before. And I usually do it if I'm going to be talking for more than like one slide, I'll do the Clip-O-Matic so that it has the words on it. And then with that being said, you also want to mix it up. So you don't want to just do all talking. You want to have some things where, you know, people are sliding the little fire thing, or they're commenting on a poll, or there's like funny little GIF things dancing around, or it's like asking a question, like or it's a picture and then it's a video and then it's you talking. Like you want to kind of mix it up so that people don't get bored. Because if you watch someone's story and you see it's like talking, and it's like 15 little things at the top, you're like, next, like you're not even going to bother watching it. So kind of think about your habits on stories when you're making your stories as well, and it'll kind of give you a better idea of what would be smart to post and what maybe people wouldn't really watch. Which I just kind of talked about the polls and the slides and the music and stuff. And then something that you can do that I also have been doing is I'm saving my monthly invite series, which I'm going to show you how to do that, as a highlight. So if you go on my Instagram, you'll see I have a little highlight for my boot camp. So my boot camp invite lives in my highlight. So it's always there. And I can direct people to that. I can say, check the highlight if it's not in my story anymore. Sometimes I'll post the same invite series like a couple times a week instead of just once, because, you know, if you post it one time and then you post it again, the same people aren't going to see it. So it's just good to have it saved there as a highlight so it's all in one place. And then another really cool tip is you can actually link your post on your feed to your story. So if you have a call to action post, which I'm also going to show you in the slides, where you're inviting people to a challenge group on your Instagram, you can share that post to your story and have that as part of your invite series in your story, where it's leading them to that post so they can, if they want more information, they can read more in depth about what it is that you're inviting them to, and then they're maybe more likely to take action as well. So this is something that I didn't make up. It's kind of cool, so I wish I did, but it is actually something that Shalane Johnson made up to help you kind of think about what you want to have in your story every single day. And it's an acronym, and the acronym is Redic. So you want to have something for letter R, you want to have something relatable, something that, you know, people who are watching you can relate to. So if that's like mom life, share that. If that's dog mom life, share that. If that's, I don't know, you're just a big klutz and you spill stuff like Natalie, share that. Like whatever it is that it could be relatable. So even if it seems like silly, like it's probably not. People are going to relate to you for sharing those things. Educate, enlighten, and entertain. I'm not going to dive too deep into that because Valeria is going to cover that, but you want to just make sure you're sharing something of value. Dialogue in the DM is basically just getting people to take action and message you. So like giving them something to message you about. So if you're sharing a recipe or you're posting, you know, something with food, if they want the recipe, they can DM you. Or if you're talking about something, but you're kind of being very vague about it, but you're creating curiosity around it, they're going to message you. Because when people message you, it's actually better for your algorithm if they're messaging you from your stories, because it shows Instagram that their stories are engaging, which is positive. Also, interaction, you want something for them to click or slide or touch or tap or whatever, something that is tactile. And then C, capture emails. So whether you're doing the question box or if you have the swipe up, I don't have swipe up. So like you don't need swipe up to be successful at Instagram stories. But if you do have 10,000 followers and you do have the swipe up, that could be one way to capture emails, or even just like telling people swipe up and message me your email, or using the question box or something like that. So keep your stories Redic every day, and you should have good quality stuff within your story to help you start to build your business. So I'm going to show you some visuals because I'm a visual learner and nothing really makes sense for me unless I actually see it. So this is what I was talking about being like a monthly invite series. I literally just made these on Canva. I'll give you the exact dimensions of the image so that you can do custom and you can make it exactly the right size. Canva is a website, so if you're brand new and you've never heard of Canva, it's just canva.com, and make sure you don't go on that website until after you're done with your power hour, because you will like find yourself lost having so much fun making lots of cool stuff. Just fair warning, if you're someone who likes to be creative and do stuff, make sure you get your actual work done before you go over there and play. But this is something that I did for this month. I just took a photo of myself. I said, all right, November bootcamp enrollment is now open. And here's my first call to action. Swipe up and message me to grab your spot. So maybe somebody would swipe up right there. Probably not, because it's just one picture. So then I had another photo. This is the second time that I'm exposing them to information. You know, you're going to get access to hundreds of workouts for a full year. Okay, the next slide, I showed a video of me like scrolling through the challenge tracker app that said accountability on top of it, which I just made with a screen recording, which I only know how to do on an iPhone. So if you don't have an iPhone, I don't know how to do it, but it's just an iPhone feature where you can literally record what you're doing on your screen. And then the next time that they saw it, like the next story, meal plans, nutrition guide, superfood shakes, and an awesome photo of Emmy's transformation. So I'm hitting them a third time about the same exact thing. And then I have a list here that I also made on, actually I think I made this on WordSwag on my phone because it was easier to make it on the phone. But this is my list. I'm like, okay, I have 10 spots. I'm creating a sense of urgency. And then as people sign up or they commit, I add their name to the list. So as you can see, these people's names are on here, and as they're signing up, I'm tagging them on the list. So that is being sent to them, and it's just more validation for them. Like, you know, some of these people, I did it before they officially finished their enrollment. So it's kind of like, you're in now. Like, you can't back out. You said you're doing this. I sent you your enrollment. I'm just waiting for you to finish it. So this is a way to create excitement around what you're doing, and it's also a great way for people to see that they're signing up for something, like there's a group that you're kind of putting together here. And then this was the third call to action. So I was saying here, like, all right, swipe up. Then I was saying open enrollment. I had another one here that after it said 10 spots, and then I had what it was going to get. I had another thing that said drop your email, but I didn't screenshot the right picture. And then I had another one, ready to take control of your life. So I'm giving them like several options, like several opportunities to say yes, or, you know, send me more info, or give me their email. I'm giving them a lot of different ways to, you know, say yes, basically. And this is actually my post from my story. I mean, from my feed. So I just shared it into my story. So even if they click on this photo, it'll take them to my post on my Instagram story, where I'm also talking about my challenge group that's coming up and inviting them to join. So it all kind of flows and it's all connected. And it's giving them multiple opportunities to either like vote on a poll, swipe up, drop their email. It's giving them a lot of different options there. And then this is something that I posted after I posted the enrollment like monthly invite series. This was like a few days after, showing them in the challenge group, you know, I call you out halfway through the week if I don't see you checking in, and I, you know, the little hedgehog, like, Alan, like that's what that is. But it's just something like that's very me. It's very fun, and it's showing them like basically what they're missing out on for not signing up. So I'm showing inside the challenge group here. Some other things you want to share on your story, you want to share your team. And it's really cool if you remember to consciously like tag another teammate when you're posting something so that they can share it into their story, or tag your coach so they can share it into their story. Like Tori tagged me here, and I was able to share that into my story, and then she could share it like into her story. It's just really cool to kind of create that community and show people that you're not just doing this alone. You are a part of a team and a really awesome community. You can shout out people on your team that you see that post really awesome stuff. Like Rebecca lost 100 pounds. So I saw her post and I screenshotted it and shared it in my story and was like, shout out to this girl, like slay, queen, slay. Like doing things like that is going to show the people who are watching your stories that it's not just you, you're a part of a team. Team calls is a great opportunity to do that as well. Or even if we did like a webcast the other night, I was sharing videos from that, showing people that, you know, I'm a part of this team, I'm a part of a community. It's not just me sitting behind my computer all day by myself. You want to share the fun. These are some of my favorite story highlights. If Christy's on here, she's cracking up right now. But every day I share my crack juice dance. It just kind of becomes something that is part of me, and everyone asks me, how can I get some of your crack juice, which kind of makes me laugh. It's just energized. It's not really anything bad, but it's just funny when people ask me for it. But I'm sharing that. I'm sharing, like, I'm having a good time. I like to dance. It's part of what I love to do, so I like to do that. You don't have to do that, but I just like to do that. These are just very real and very funny, I guess, stories from times when I have been hanging out with coaches on this team. So this was actually my bridal shower, and I was shaking my Shakeology in my pants. I was like twerking and shaking my shaker cup, and that's just something that I do, and it's just funny, and like that's who I am. So I shared that. This was at the pool on our Success Club trip, having a good time, and this was us floating in the avocado float, also on the Success Club trip. So I'm showing the fun. I'm showing that, you know, it's not just all work. We do play, and obviously, like, I'm not going to be able to share these things every day, like, because I'm not drinking margaritas in a pool every day, but I have these videos saved on my phone, and I could always share them, like Flashback Friday or Throwback Thursday, and share different things from different times. So it doesn't have to be like exactly what's happening in your life today, but just remember to have fun with it. And at the end, if we have time, I actually have the actual video footage of me shaking my shaker if anybody's interested in seeing that. It's pretty funny. So that is the other thing. You want to share the fun, you want to share your team, and then you also want to share the work, because you don't want to attract a bunch of people who just think it's fun and games all the time, or else you're going to have a lot of fun people, but you're not going to like get to crush goals and succeed together. You're just going to have a bunch of people that just want to have fun all the time. And we love to have fun too, but we have to work in order to have that kind of fun. So sharing, you know, Emmy and I hopped on a Zoom call and we were working together. We were like literally doing a power hour together, inviting, following up, doing that. We were on a screen together because we aren't living in the same town, but we were working together across the state, which is kind of cool. Sharing, like sitting out on my porch, working on my tan, putting in the work, listening to John Mayer with my dog, and just answering emails, like showing people that I'm actually doing work. I'm not just dancing and, you know, sitting in a pool all day. Going live in a few to share my story. And this was something that I was talking about it in order to get people to want to come and, you know, see the story, but also even the mere fact of saying like, I'm sharing my story, or I'm going live in a group, or I'm leading a team call today. Like things like that are showing people some of the things that coaches do, like part of the job. And then this was actually today, the superfoods and business training. Every Monday I post a screenshot of me listening to the National Wake Up Call. Usually that's the time I have my shake as well. So I kind of kill two birds with one stone, but I'm showing people like we have these awesome calls every week that you get to listen to. So I'm showing people the work, I'm showing people the fun, I'm showing people the team. And it's a really great way to give them a full perspective of what it is that we do as coaches. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Valeria for a bit, and then I'm going to close it up with that. So.
Okay, hey guys. So one of the things Carolyn mentioned is adding value, and that's the E. So either education, enlightening, or entertaining. So I like to think of it as, why would someone follow you and watch your stories? Like, you need to be providing value and giving, not just asking. Like, call to actions are important, talking about your wellness or challenge groups are important, but you need to be also giving something so that people actually have a reason to watch your stories. So these are just a couple examples of like how I like to add value. And a lot of the times this looks like what I actually just do in the day. Like I made a smoothie bowl one day and it was delicious. So I just jotted down the recipe and said, hold down and screenshot to save. And it obviously like includes Shakeology, so I'm showing like product use there. I do personal development every morning, so I've been actually kind of bad about this the past couple of weeks, but I used to share a quote that I really resonated with every morning. So a lot of people would actually reply and be like, wow, this really spoke to me, or like, I love reading these every morning. Thank you for sharing. Like, and just like connecting, building a relationship through that is also super important. So that adds value. And even just like moves, like today I did shift shop and had like the jumping jacks that were like kind of squatted down. So I do like moves of the day, and just showing people that you not only like talk the talk, but you also walk the walk, like you're also working out and you're sharing your favorite move. Like I wrote down, you know, this is how you do the move. So if someone wants to do it, like they can just look at my story and do it. And then just like random little tidbits of your daily life. Like if you have a full-time job and you're like a teacher or an engineer, like something else, you can talk about that as well. Like it doesn't all have to be Beachbody, because you are not just a Beachbody coach. Like you're you, and that's why people follow you. Like you want to share parts of like your story and what makes you you, because that's what makes you unique and sets you apart from the crowd. So the other part that I also think is kind of makes your stories feel more cohesive, is posting in logical order. And what I mean by this is sometimes we post, you know, our like workout in the morning, and then we're at work and like we don't post because we don't think it's entertaining or enjoyable or whatever. And then we go like 8 hours pass by, and then we are talking about our challenge groups at night, and our followers are like, what is going on? Like, what does she do for like 8 hours a day? So just kind of trying to be consistent with your stories, and like I said, showing up, showing like what you do in the day. Some of you may be in the Success Club team like thing with the tracker, this thing, but I just wanted to share it for those of you that aren't in that group. We have a little checklist for our Instagram stories, and it's daily life, workout clips, product use, no brand name shown, healthy meal or meal prep, invitation / call to action, and recognition. Personally, I need to get better about recognition and showing like the food I eat. But I don't like, I'm sure there's parts of that list that maybe you don't post about every day. So that's something that you can have in the back of your mind as kind of like a mental checklist for your IG stories. Because sometimes, I don't know about y'all, but like sometimes I'll get to the end of the day and be like, shit, I only have like 4 things on my story. Like I need to post more, be more active there. So yeah, another thing that's like not really covered on the slide, but I want to talk about is like Carolyn said, like we need to use all the features that Instagram has. So story, all the features story has. So polls, questions, the slidey thing, don't know what you call that, but Instagram, the algorithm actually rewards you for using all its features. So like you will show up on people's like story thing more if you're using those features and like getting people to engage with those features. So I learned that from like a little Instagram training outside of this, but yes. Also, if you don't want to download I don't know what the caption app was called, but I've had success like just not necessarily like making subtitles to my talking stories, but just in like one phrase kind of summing up what that particular story said. So it's still kind of like a caption, but it's not like subtitles, if that makes sense. But yes, I think that was all I had to. Oh, one last thing about adding value. Sorry, I keep switching back and forth, but I think it's super helpful to share where you are learning, what you are learning from. So a lot of the times when I like post the workout clips, I'll hop on after my workout is done and be like, by the way, that move was my favorite move from like this program that I'm doing. It's, 21 days, it ramps up in intensity, blah, blah, blah. So you're not only adding value, but you're connecting like the value to the source. And a lot of the times that source is from our challenge packs, our superfoods, our workouts, our personal development, the coaching opportunities. So making that connection crystal clear for your followers is also like super important, because it just kind of like ties it all together, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was it.
No, that's super smart. I like that. Good tips. Tori did have a question. She was asking if you could repeat the checklist that you said on the story thing from the Success Club training. So if you want to type that in the chat for her.
Yeah, I'll type it.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So I'm just going to show you something that is going to make your calls to actions a lot better and more successful. So this is what I like to call the 3-step call to action, or like 3 sweet spot. I don't know. I just came up with something. But basically the point is like you are asking more than one time. So sometimes when you ask, you don't get it right away. You don't get what you want the first time. So you got to ask again, and then you got to ask again. And then maybe by the 3rd or 4th time, you're going to get what you're looking for. So this is an example of me doing that in one of my calls to action. So I had a couple photos before this where I was basically explaining the kind of person that I was looking to attract, that I was looking for on our team. And then I had drop your email here. So a couple people did drop their email the first time, but not a lot. And then I had another call to action here, swipe up to meet the team. So if you don't have 10,000 followers, you can still do a swipe up if you're linking it to an Instagram TV story or IGTV story. That's the only thing you can swipe up for if you don't have 10,000 followers. So I had a swipe up to our team coach teaser video to kind of show them a little bit more about our team and, you know, what we are all about. And then I had another slide or story where I was talking. I was using the Clip-O-Matic, and I had the words showing up so that they can read it if they're not listening. And I was basically explaining what they're going to get. You know, I was giving out pumpkin spice Shakeology and Energize for people who did sign up the first 10. And then I had another one asking them to put their email right here, babe. You know, I know you want to. So instead of just asking one time, I did ask, and then I had a couple more stories in between. There were probably maybe like one other one in between that I missed. And then I asked for it again. And I got more on the second one than I did on the first one. And I guarantee you, if I did that again and I asked again in the same story, if I asked for people's emails 3 times, I guarantee by that 3rd time, I would get even more. Because people are flipping through, like deciding if they want to do it, deciding if they want to like give you their email, if they want more information. And by that 3rd time that they're like, all right, fine, I'll just do it, whatever. So it's just giving them more of an opportunity to take action on what it is that you're asking them to do. And this one was from today. I did it a little bit differently today. I had my story that I recorded my video on my phone of my workout, and then I used an app to slice it into 15-second segments so that when it plays like all as one continuous video, and it doesn't really have gaps in between. So my first video, I have, you know, to save your spot in my wellness club, swipe up, send me a DM. Nobody did that, right? So then I have, does this look more doable? Because I was showing the modifier in the next one. I had a lot of people vote on the poll. So I'm giving them a swipe up option. I'm giving them a vote on the poll option. I had another, never too late to start, send me a DM, the little like gift thing popping up. That's a 3rd ask. And then I have drop your email in the box. So I gave them 4 opportunities to give me their information so I could give them more info about what it is that I'm doing. So the more times you ask, the more of a chance it is that you're actually going to be able to help someone, because they're more likely to just, okay, fine, I'll give you my email so that we can get started with this. Oh, and then one other thing that's super important, if you're directing people to the link in your bio, sometimes people don't really know where to find that. And it's kind of surprising, but you can never be too surprised, I guess, these days. So something that I do, I take a screenshot of my bio and I literally point and say, right here, this is where you're going to click. Then I'll show them the next screen of what it looks like when they click that link and tell them where to click next. And then I'll show them what it is that, like the end result, what they should see when they click this link here. So I'm giving them a step-by-step. this is how you find the link. This is what you click. This is what you're going to see, so that they do that. And because if they just see link in the bio, they're like, cool. And then like they might forget like 2 seconds later, or they don't remember to like get out of the story and go and do it, or they just don't know where to find it. So just literally showing them and guiding them to where you want them to go has been super helpful. I've noticed more people are clicking that link and requesting to join my group versus like nobody doing it. So showing people how to find it is super helpful as well if you want them to be able to take action. So this is just a list of some apps that I use. So if you wanted to take a screenshot of this or a photo, these are the top apps that I use for my stories. I'm not going to explain how to use every one because that'll take forever, but I'll give you kind of like an idea of what each one's for. So the top ones, like the ones in the top section, are used for video. The ones on the bottom I use for images, and I literally just figured out how to use them just by playing around with them, and we're all really smart, and I'm sure you could figure it out too. But Trialer is the one where if you watch my stories, you'll see the videos where it's like, I'm over here dancing, and then now I'm over here dancing, and then I'm like in another room drinking my Energize, and then it pops back to me in another room. It literally edits the entire video for you, which is totally awesome. It takes like probably 2 minutes, not even, to do a cool video like that. So that's what that one is. Clip-O-Matic is the one that puts the words on your video. Cut Story is if you have a video that's longer than 15 seconds that you want to put the whole video, it'll chop it into 15-second pieces so you can post them one after another and it'll play as like one continuous video. And then InShot is another app that you can take shorter clips and make one longer video if you wanted to do that, and then you cut it again with the other one. Just because if you do it on iMovie, it doesn't fill the screen, it just fills the center part, and it's super tiny. So if you want it to fill the whole screen, InShot's really cool because you can literally pick the size that you want it to be. And then just using your screen recording on your iPhone, it's really easy to do. If you just swipe up, I don't know if you can see my phone, but if you swipe up on your phone, mine doesn't work. You swipe up and then you'll see this little record circle. If you want to have like voice in it, you have to hold it down and turn the microphone on and then hit record. But if you want to just record like you scrolling your phone and going through a Facebook group or whatever, you click here and it'll go 3, 2, 1, and then you'll know it's recording because a red bar will show up at the top. So then basically like whatever you do on your screen, like it's recording me swiping through my Instagram or whatever. And then when you're done, you just click the red bar at the top and hit stop, and it'll save it to your camera roll. So then you can post it if you wanted to like go through your Facebook and go through like the wellness club or your challenge group or your tracker app or anything really. You can record that and share it into your story, and it's kind of neat. And then just for the pretty pictures that, you know, that have words on it that aren't like the ones from Instagram, like these, the ones that kind of look like these, and stuff like this is all done on either Canva. If you're on canva.com, this is the pixels for an Instagram story, 1080 by 1920. And then if you're on WordSwag or Typorama or really any app on your phone that you can put words, those are the two that I use for that. So just some apps to use and play around with and make your stories fun and entertaining. But I think that was all that we had for today. Does anyone have any questions? We feel good about stories? Are we excited to go like do all this stuff now? Yeah? Yeah, stories are fun. It's like your space to be creative and like literally just have fun. So,
yep.
Yeah. We did have one call to action though for you guys, or a homework action step, because it's not just, okay, let's hop on a team call and be like, yeah, that was a great call, and then like never implement anything. So we want you guys to tomorrow do one of those 3-step invitations to a challenge group or to coaching, whatever you want to do, where you're either, you know, you're doing a poll, and you're asking for an email, and you're asking for them to swipe up and send you a message, and in between those you're having like other things. So you're presenting them with an opportunity to take action more than one time about the same thing, like I showed you tonight. So if you want to give that a try tomorrow, I think it'd be a really good practice. Even if you just signed up, this is a great way to start your business and get going with it. So some things you can do if you're just getting started and you don't have a transformation yet, you can use other transformations from other coaches on our team. We have a folder in our team page. We have a folder in our Google Drive. Or you can just like reach out and ask someone, hey, can I use your transformation? So those are options as well, but just really have fun with it. Give them a couple options and multiple times to take action. And it may not work the first time, it might not work the second time, but if you keep doing it consistently, it's going to work. Like, and when I drop that email thing, don't think I'm getting like 20 emails. Like sometimes I get none, sometimes I get 2 or 3. Like it just depends on who's watching and who really wants to take action. So don't assume that like, oh my God, she's getting like 1 million emails and I didn't get any. Like, no, there are days where I get 0 too. So just wanted to full disclosure, put that out there, so that you don't get like discouraged if you don't get any emails the first time you do it. So does that make sense? Yeah. Jamie, I want to call out Jamie. She's brand new and she's killing it on her story. She's having a lot of fun. So she's always sharing her workouts and everything. I love seeing you doing that. So we should make sure that we're like following each other, I guess, so we can see each other's stories. But one other thing that I just thought of that's kind of tricky, but it's kind of cool if we do this. You know how sometimes you can ask people like, ask me a question, and you can put the question thing instead of using it to collect emails, you can just literally say, ask me anything. I've done that before and I'm like, dude, nobody's asking me anything. Like nobody wants to know anything. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. I went on my dog's Instagram and I asked myself questions because I was like, nobody's asking me anything. I'm going to ask myself some questions, and I'm going to ask the questions that I wanted people to ask me. So I asked myself things like, I want to be a coach, but I don't feel like I'm ready to be a coach because I'm not fit enough. Like questions like that. Like I'm literally asking myself what I want people to ask me, and then I'm answering them on my story. So if you see like one of your fellow coaches posting that, like ask me a question, or maybe we can have like one day a week where we do that and we go to each other's stories and we ask each other questions so that we can actually have things to share, and we ask each other questions about coaching and about challenge groups and about just funny things, like things that are going to add value to our stories. I think that would be a really good thing for us to do, so that we can use that feature and actually give ourselves the opportunity to talk about certain things that maybe nobody would ask us, but we want them to ask us. So if you ever see a fellow teammate posting that, ask them a question about their group, or ask them a question about coaching, or, what's your favorite thing about coaching? That's something that you can ask a fellow coach, and they'll be able to share that, and it'll give them something to add value to their story for that day. What did Christy say? You can ask yourself questions? I didn't know that. I've never figured out how to do that. So Copper asked me questions.
You literally just click on it like you are someone else.
It never lets me do that though. So
I ask myself questions all the time.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. So I just went through my dog's Instagram and did it.
I love that, because I thought the same thing the other day. I was like, gosh dang it, nobody's asking.
Right? Nobody's asking me anything.
And then I was like, wait a second. I'll just act like somebody's asking.
Exactly, right?
Same information,
Yeah, I mean, it's just really giving you the chance to share what you want to share anyway. Like I asked myself questions like, when you decided to be a coach, were you scared? Or like things like that. Fears that people have, objections that people have. Like I asked myself those things and then I answered them. And I was like, it was kind of awkward because I was pretending I was like talking to somebody else, like, hey, yeah, girlfriend, like no problem, but like whatever, whatever works. So it's just a good way to kind of give yourself the opportunity to continue to add more value and stuff like that. And like tag your coach in things and tag your fellow teammates in things, whether it's your workout, you know, maybe your personal development, like just kind of be a little bit more conscious of trying to tag maybe like at least one other teammate a day so that they have something they can share into their story, and then they'll tag you on something and you can share it into yours. It'll just kind of give you more ability to share this awesome team that we have. So sound good? Yeah, do you have any questions?
For a picture?
Oh yeah, let me put it on gallery so you can see everybody. Oh, there's 2 pages.
Woo!
Let me make it a little bigger so everyone fits on one screen though. There we go. Okay.
Wait, how do we do that? Can we do that?
I just stretched the screen.
Oh, hey y'all. I posted a video of how to get your screenshot video on your like pull down menu. So if you don't, it's on the Facebook page if you don't know how to do it.
What on the, how to do
On
what?
How to like put, because you know, not everybody has the pull down menu. Like they don't all have like the thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I put a video on there of how to get that on your pull down screen.
Oh, the record thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome.
It's on the Facebook page if you don't know how to do it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. All right, so let's take us a picture. And this would be a great opportunity for you to share it in your story and practice what you just learned. Just saying. So get your cameras out. You guys could take pictures too, if you want. One giant selfie. It's actually like a Wi-Fi because there's like more than one person on here. So
How do I get everybody up on here?
I guess I should stop the recording right now. I think